The quantum communication array in Sergeant Marcus Chen's left eye flickered with a constellation of data points, each pulse a silent warning. Outside the reinforced observation deck of Orbital Station Aegis, the Zarkonian diplomatic vessel approached Earth like a living crystal, impossible geometry that seemed to challenge the very laws of physics. Marcus remembered the first time humanity had detected the Zarkonians. It wasn't through telescopes or radio signals, but through a quantum anomaly detected by Dr. Elena Rodriguez's team at the Deep Space Observation Facility in the Atacama Desert. That was 7 years ago, when most of humanity remained blissfully unaware of the predators watching from the cosmic shadows. Incoming transmission. The station's AI announced, its voice deliberately modulated to sound calm. Zarkonian diplomatic channel activated. At the far end of the observation deck, Dr. Rodriguez adjusted her quantum interface gloves, fingers dancing with a nervous energy that belied her outward composure. Her team had spent years preparing, studying every scrap of data, every intercepted communication, every fragment of technology they could acquire. The holographic display materialized, revealing Ambassador Quakes. The alien was a nightmare of crystalline biology, a being that seemed part organic, part machine, with faceted eyes that reflected multiple realities simultaneously. When it spoke, the words seemed to emerge from everywhere and nowhere, translated through complex quantum linguistics. People of Earth, Quakes began, we come in a spirit of mutual understanding and potential cooperation. Marcus's cybernetic eye ran simultaneous analysis protocols. The translation was perfect, but each word carried microscopic variations in quantum resonance. To the untrained ear, it was diplomatic courtesy. To Marcus, it was a coded threat, layer upon layer of potential aggression, hidden behind seemingly benign language. Dr. Rodriguez caught his eye. A slight nod passed between them. They both heard it. The underlying threat. Beside Marcus, Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o reviewed multiple threat assessments. Her augmented neural network processed potential scenarios faster than any human brain could comprehend. They're hiding something, she muttered, just loud enough for Marcus to hear. The quantum signature of their communication doesn't match standard diplomatic protocols. The station around them was humanity's most advanced defensive platform, a testament to how far they'd come in preparing for this moment. Every surface was a potential weapon, every system a potential shield. Orbital Station Aegis wasn't just a diplomatic meeting point, it was a fortress disguised as a neutral ground. Quakes continued speaking, describing potential trade agreements, cultural exchanges, the standard diplomatic dance. But Marcus watched the spaces between the words, the quantum fluctuations that told a different story. Humanity had learned to read more than just language. They'd learned to read the very fabric of communication itself. We bring an opportunity, the ambassador said, for Earth to join a greater galactic community. Marcus's cybernetic eye overlaid the transmission with threat analysis. Translation: we're giving you a chance to surrender voluntarily. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her movements calculated. Ambassador Quakes, she responded, her voice steady. We appreciate your transmission. The United Earth Council will review your proposal. The diplomatic dance continued, but in the observation deck, a different conversation was happening. Micro-expressions, quantum data exchanges, silent communications that spoke volumes. They knew what was coming. The Zarkonians believed they were offering Earth a choice. What they didn't understand was that humanity had been making its own choices for a long time. Choices that would soon shake the very foundations of galactic civilization. Outside the station's massive windows, Earth hung like a blue-green jewel, beautiful, seemingly vulnerable. But those who truly understood humanity knew the planet was anything but defenseless. The silent predators had no idea what was coming. Beneath the Atacama Desert, the true heart of humanity's defense pulsed with an energy that defied conventional understanding. The Quantum Preparedness Initiative, QPI. Complex stretched for kilometers underground, a labyrinth of research facilities. manufacturing centers, and defensive systems that made the most advanced military installations look like children's playgrounds. Dr. Maria Santos stood before a holographic display that mapped humanity's secret technological ecosystem. Her prosthetic arm, a marvel of quantum adaptive biomechanical engineering, interfaced directly with the station's computational matrix. Each movement sent ripples of data through systems that could process more information in a microsecond than entire planetary networks could manage in a year. Quantum entanglement weapon system at 97% calibration, she muttered, more to herself than to the team of researchers surrounding her. The weapon was unlike anything in human or alien history. It could theoretically strike a target simultaneously across multiple dimensional planes, rendering traditional defensive technologies obsolete. Nearby, Dr. Elena Rodriguez reviewed the latest intelligence gathered from the orbital encounter. The Zarkonian diplomatic transmission was a puzzle box of quantum-encrypted messages, each layer revealing more about the alien civilization's technological capabilities and potential weaknesses. "They're hiding something," Elena said, her voice cutting through the low hum of quantum processors. The communication matrix suggests a civilization built on layers of deception. Every diplomatic overture is a potential weapon. Major Jackson Reed, head of military integration, studied a holographic battlefield simulation. His augmented reality interface showed potential conflict scenarios that shifted and morphed in real time. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment, not just militarily, but philosophically, technologically, culturally. "We're not just preparing for a war," Jackson explained to a group of young researchers. "We're preparing for a fundamental redefinition of humanity's place in the cosmos." The QPI complex was more than a military installation. It was a testament to human adaptation, a living organism of technological innovation. Entire production lines could reconfigure themselves in milliseconds, adapting to new technological challenges faster than any known biological or artificial intelligence. Maria's prosthetic arm began to pulse with a soft blue light, a warning signal that most would miss. She zoomed in on a particular section of the quantum weapon system, her augmented vision revealing microscopic irregularities that would escape even the most advanced scanning technologies. "Got you," she whispered. A young researcher named Kai Chen approached, his own neural implants creating a secondary communication channel. "The Zarkonian quantum signature we intercepted last month," he said, "it's not just a communication protocol. It's a potential invasion vector." Helena nodded, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface that seemed to breathe with living information. "Exactly. They're not just preparing for diplomatic contact. They're probing our defenses." The room was a symphony of technological preparation. Quantum computers the size of city blocks processed information at speeds that would make traditional supercomputers look like abacuses. Weapon systems that could reshape matter, communication technologies that could bridge impossible distances, defensive mechanisms that could turn entire planetary systems into protective shields. Major Reed pulled up a global map showing the hidden network of quantum preparedness facilities. From the depths of the Atacama to the frozen research stations of Antarctica, from underground complexes in the Ural Mountains to secret facilities beneath the Pacific Ocean, humanity had been preparing, watching, learning. "They think we're primitive," Maria said, her prosthetic arm recalibrating a weapon system that could theoretically unravel the fundamental atomic structure of an entire planetary system. "They have no idea." The Zarkonians believed they were approaching a vulnerable, isolated civilization. What they didn't understand was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Every technological advance, every scientific breakthrough, every military strategy had been leading to this point. A single warning began to pulse across the facility's quantum communication network. Something was coming, and humanity was ready. The first Zarkonian weapon struck with a precision that defied human comprehension. Quantum disruptive energy beams that could liquefy entire metropolitan areas, carved through Earth's defensive networks like spectral blades of pure destruction. New York disappeared in a quantum implosion that left nothing but a perfectly spherical crater of molten glass. Tokyo folded in on itself, its massive urban landscape compressed into a singularity that defied known physical laws. Los Angeles became a burning wound on the planet's surface, its skyscrapers vaporized in microseconds. Sergeant Marcus Chen was buried beneath the ruins of the North American Aerospace Defense Command Center when consciousness returned. His cybernetic systems sparked and flickered, diagnostic protocols running emergency assessments. Around him, the massive underground facility was a tomb of twisted metal and quantum-burned debris. Systems at 32% functionality. His neural interface reported, the voice calm despite the catastrophic damage. He pulled himself from the wreckage, each movement a battle against damaged augmentations and collapsing structural integrity. The emergency beacon in his neural network pulsed, a quantum-encrypted distress signal that would find its way to surviving command structures. Across the planet, humanity's response was anything but defeated. In the Quantum Preparedness Initiative complex beneath the Atacama Desert, Dr. Elena Rodriguez coordinated a response that was less a military strategy and more a species-wide immune response. Backup command centers activated simultaneously around the globe, each one a node in a living, adaptive network that the Zarkonians could never fully comprehend. Quantum network integrity at 78%, announced Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o, her augmented systems interfacing with global defensive networks. Backup systems coming online. The attack was meant to be total, absolute, a surgical strike that would eliminate humanity's ability to respond. What the Zarkonians didn't understand was that humanity's strength was never in its individual components, but in its ability to adapt, to reorganize, to survive. Marcus emerged from the underground facility, his tactical overlay mapping the devastation. Entire cities were gone, millions dead in the initial strike. But his neural network picked up something the Zarkonians hadn't anticipated: survival signals, communication networks reforming, a species refusing to be defeated. Command, this is Sergeant Chen. He transmitted through a quantum-encrypted channel. North American defense grid compromised. Initiating emergency protocol Harbinger. Harbinger was more than a military protocol. It was humanity's ultimate contingency, a distributed network of defense and counterattack that could reshape entire planetary systems. In orbit, the remnants of Earth's space defense fleet began to move. These weren't traditional ships, but living weapons, biomechanical constructs that could adapt, regenerate, transform. Each vessel was part organic, part quantum mechanical system, capable of reconfiguring its entire structure in milliseconds. Dr. Maria Santos, monitoring from the QPI complex, watched as the first wave of adaptive defense systems came online. Her prosthetic arm interfaced with global communication networks, routing emergency protocols, activating backup systems that the Zarkonians couldn't possibly have anticipated. "They think they've won," Maria muttered, her fingers dancing across quantum interfaces. "They have no idea." The global communication network, believed destroyed, began to reform. Not through traditional methods, but through a quantum-entangled mesh that could route communications through impossible pathways. Military installations that appeared destroyed were merely waiting, adaptive systems going into deep hibernation, ready to emerge when least expected. Marcus Chen looked up at the smoke-filled sky, quantum data streaming through his cybernetic eye. The planet was wounded, but not broken. Humanity had faced extinction events before: climate disasters, pandemics, technological collapses. This was just another challenge. Initiating global counteractive response, his neural interface announced. The Zarkonians believed they were conducting a surgical strike. What they had actually done was wake up a sleeping giant, a species that didn't just fight back, but fundamentally rewrote the rules of conflict. Beneath the burning surface of a wounded planet, humanity was already planning its revenge. 96 hours after the initial attack, Humanity underwent a technological metamorphosis that would redefine the very concept of scientific innovation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the heart of the Quantum Preparedness Initiative's most classified laboratory. Around her, holographic displays showed the rapid evolution of human technology, not as a linear progression, but as a cascading quantum bloom of innovation. The massive chamber pulsed with energy that seemed to bend the very fabric of reality. "We're not just developing weapons," she explained to the gathered team of scientists and military strategists. "We're creating a living technological ecosystem." The first prototype, codenamed Prometheus Rising, was unlike any spacecraft humanity had ever conceived. Its hull wasn't constructed but grown, a living composite of biomechanical materials that could think, adapt, and regenerate. Quantum processors woven through its structure made traditional computer systems look like ancient abacuses. Maria Santos guided her prosthetic arm across a quantum interface, watching as the ship's systems came online. It wasn't just a machine. It was a living weapon that could fundamentally rewrite the rules of cosmic conflict. "Quantum resonance at 99.7% synchronization," Maria announced. Her voice carried a mixture of scientific precision and barely contained excitement. "Neural network integration complete." Major Jackson Reed studied the tactical readouts. Each system was a marvel of human ingenuity. Weapons that could strike across multiple dimensional planes, defensive mechanisms that could predict and counter threats before they fully materialized. The breakthrough came from an unexpected fusion of disciplines. Quantum physicists worked alongside biological engineers. Neural network specialists collaborated with material scientists. The Zarkonians had attacked humanity's surface, but they'd awakened something far more dangerous, a species capable of turning limitation into unprecedented opportunity. Kai Chen, a young researcher with neural implants that allowed him to interface directly with the most advanced computational systems, demonstrated a new communication technology. "Traditional quantum encryption is linear," he explained. "Our new system is a living, adaptive network. It doesn't just encrypt, it actively misleads, transforms, and reshapes information in real time." The technology was more than a weapon. It was a fundamental reimagining of communication, of conflict, of existence itself. Sergeant Marcus Chen watched the demonstrations, his cybernetic eye processing information at speeds that would overwhelm most biological systems. The attack had done more than destroy cities. It had unleashed humanity's most profound potential. "First production run of Prometheus-class vessels," Major Reed announced, "will be ready in 48 hours. The underground facility was a crucible of innovation. 3D printing systems that could generate entire starship components in minutes. Quantum fabrication units that could manipulate matter at the atomic level. Biological interfaces that blurred the line between organic and mechanical." Dr. Rodriguez pulled up a holographic display showing the global network of hidden research facilities. From the depths of the Atacama to secret complexes beneath the Arctic ice, humanity was transforming. Each facility was now a node in a living, adaptive technological network. "They thought they were conducting a war," Maria muttered, watching the Prometheus Rising systems come fully online. "We're rewriting the fundamental laws of cosmic interaction." The ship was a testament to human innovation. Its weapons could strike simultaneously across multiple dimensional planes. Its defensive systems could predict and counter threats before they fully materialized. But more than that, it was alive. A living weapon that could think, adapt, learn. Kai Chen's neural interface suddenly flashed with an incoming transmission. Quantum encrypted multiple-layer security protocols that would take most civilizations decades to develop. "Incoming data," he announced. "Zarkonian communication networks are attempting to analyze our technological response." A slight smile crossed Dr. Rodriguez's face. "Let them try to understand." The Zarkonians believed they were conducting a surgical strike against a primitive civilization. What they had actually done was trigger humanity's most profound evolutionary leap, a transformation that would reshape the very concept of technological warfare. Prometheus Rising came fully online, its quantum systems pulsing with a living energy that seemed to challenge the fundamental laws of physics. Humanity was ready. The Quantum Strike team assembled in a space that defied conventional understanding. It wasn't a traditional briefing room, but a living neural interface chamber where biological consciousness merged seamlessly with computational systems. Sergeant Marcus Chen led the team, a group of hybrid warriors that represented the pinnacle of human adaptation. Each member was more than a soldier. They were living weapons, their bodies and minds augmented beyond traditional human limitations. Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o, her neural implants creating a complex web of quantum-encrypted communication channels, reviewed the mission parameters. The objective was nothing short of impossible: introduce a cascading information virus that would fundamentally destabilize the entire Zarkonian civilization. "This isn't just an attack," Marcus explained, his cybernetic eye projecting tactical holographics that danced with impossible complexity. "We're going to rewrite their entire conceptual understanding of existence." Dr. Maria Santos had spent months developing the quantum viral algorithm. It was a masterpiece of biological and computational engineering, a virus that wasn't just a piece of code, but a living, adaptive system that could mutate, learn, and propagate across multiple dimensional planes. Traditional viruses attack systems, Maria explained to the team. Ours will attack consciousness itself. The Prometheus Rising hung in orbit, its biomechanical hull seeming to breathe with a living energy. This wasn't just a spacecraft. It was the tip of humanity's evolutionary spear. Quantum processors woven through its structure could process more information in a microsecond than entire planetary networks could manage in years. Kai Chen, the youngest member of the team, interfaced directly with the ship's neural network. His augmentations allowed him to see beyond traditional sensory limitations, perceiving quantum fluctuations, communication patterns, the very fabric of technological existence. "Zarkonian communication networks detected," he announced, his voice a hybrid of human emotion and computational precision. "Multiple quantum entanglement points identified." The attack would be nothing like traditional warfare. The Zarkonians had struck at humanity's physical infrastructure, believing they could break a civilization through direct destruction. Humanity's response would be far more insidious. The quantum viral algorithm would do more than disrupt communications. It would challenge the fundamental philosophical and technological foundations of the Zarkonian civilization. Each line of code was a weapon, each quantum fluctuation a potential civilization-ending strike. "Initiating infiltration protocol," Marcus commanded. The team moved with a precision that defied human understanding. Their augmentations allowed them to exist simultaneously across multiple computational planes. They weren't just attacking the communication network, they were fundamentally reshaping the very concept of technological interaction. Dr. Rodriguez monitored from the Quantum Preparedness Initiative complex. Her tactical overlay showed the viral algorithm's progression, not as a linear attack, but as a living, adaptive system that could predict and counter potential defensive mechanisms. "They won't even understand what's happening," she muttered. The first wave of the attack was subtle. Quantum-encrypted communication channels began to destabilize. Zarkonian defensive systems found themselves fighting against an enemy that existed beyond traditional understanding of warfare. Kai Chen's neural interface captured the initial response: confusion, panic. A sophisticated civilization suddenly confronted with the complete breakdown of its most fundamental technological assumptions. "The virus is learning," he announced. "It's adapting faster than their defensive systems can comprehend." Marcus watched the tactical display. This wasn't just a military strike. It was a fundamental challenge to the Zarkonian understanding of technological warfare, of civilization itself. Communication networks collapsed. Defensive systems turned against themselves. The Zarkonians' most sophisticated technologies became weapons of their own destruction. Infiltration at 87% completion, Aisha reported, her voice a calm counterpoint to the cosmic-scale destruction unfolding. The Prometheus Rising pulsed with energy, the living weapon that represented humanity's most profound evolutionary leap. The ship wasn't just observing the attack, it was an active participant, its quantum systems working in perfect synchronization with the viral algorithm. In the span of hours, humanity did what no civilization had ever accomplished. They didn't just attack a technological system. They fundamentally rewrote the rules of cosmic conflict. The Zarkonians had believed they were conducting a surgical strike against a primitive civilization. They had no idea what was coming. The Intergalactic Council convened in a massive quantum-stabilized chamber that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensional planes. Representatives from 17 known galactic civilizations watched in stunned silence as holographic records of humanity's technological response played out. Ambassador Zelnar of the Proximant Collective leaned forward, multiple sensory stalks quivering with a mixture of terror and fascination. They'd done the impossible. He transmitted through a quantum-encrypted communication matrix. They turned a genocidal attack into a complete systemic recalibration. The record showed something unprecedented. The Zarkonian civilization, once considered an unassailable galactic power, was systematically dismantling itself. But this wasn't traditional warfare. It was a complete philosophical and technological deconstruction that defied all known principles of conflict. Dr. Elena Rodriguez appeared as a holographic projection, her presence both physical and quantum entangled. She wasn't just presenting information. She was demonstrating a fundamental reimagining of technological interaction. What you're witnessing, she explained to the assembled representatives, is not an attack. It's an evolutionary response. Kai Chen managed the quantum data streams from the Quantum Preparedness Initiative complex. Each transmission was a carefully constructed narrative, not just of humanity's capabilities, but of its fundamental approach to existence. The data showed more than technological prowess. It revealed a species capable of turning limitation into unprecedented opportunity. The Zarkonian communication networks had been reduced to quantum-level chaos. But it wasn't destruction, it was a complete transformation. Their most advanced technologies were now vectors of their own systemic collapse. Major Jackson Reed stood beside a holographic display, showing the progressive breakdown of Zarkonian defensive systems. "We didn't just defend," he explained to the Council. "We fundamentally rewrote the rules of cosmic interaction." Representatives from the Vox Collective, a hyper-advanced civilization that had existed for millennia, were the first to truly comprehend the magnitude of what humanity had accomplished. Their quantum analytical systems began to unravel the complexity of the human response. "It's not a weapon," announced the Vox representative. "They form a complex quantum entanglement of energy and consciousness. It's a living system of technological evolution." Sergeant Marcus Chen, his cybernetic systems interfacing with the Council's communication network, provided real-time analysis. Each transmission was a carefully constructed message, showing humanity not as a vengeful species, but as a fundamental force of cosmic recalibration. The holographic records showed the Prometheus rising, not just as a spacecraft, but as a living technological ecosystem. Its biomechanical hull could adapt, learn, transform. It wasn't a weapon of war, but a demonstration of a completely new approach to technological existence. Dr. Maria Santos managed the quantum data transmission. Each piece of information was a carefully crafted narrative, showing how humanity's response went beyond traditional concepts of warfare or defense. "We're not just fighting," Maria explained to the stunned representatives. "We're evolving." The Intergalactic Council watched as the Zarkonian civilization progressively dismantled itself. But this wasn't destruction, it was a fundamental transformation. Their most advanced technologies became vectors of their own systemic recalibration. Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o managed the transmission protocols. Each quantum-encrypted channel was a message, not of aggression, but of potential. Humanity wasn't just defending itself. It was demonstrating a completely new approach to technological and civilizational interaction. Ambassador Zelnar of the Proximant Collective made a transmission that would be remembered throughout galactic history. "Humanity is not just a species," he announced. They are a fundamental force of cosmic evolution. The records showed something unprecedented. A civilization that could turn an existential threat into a moment of profound transformation. The Zarkonians had attempted to destroy humanity. Instead, they had triggered an evolutionary leap that would reshape galactic understanding. The Intergalactic Council fell silent. Humanity had just rewritten the rules of existence. The quantum empathy interface hummed with a complexity that challenged the very concept of communication. Dr. Maria Santos stood at the heart of humanity's most ambitious project, a technology that could do more than translate language. It could translate experience itself. "We're not creating a translation device," she explained to the gathered team of neurologists, quantum physicists, and xenobiologists. "We're building a bridge between consciousness." The facility beneath the Atacama Desert was more than a research center. It was a living laboratory of human potential, where the boundaries between technology, biology, and philosophy blurred into something entirely new. Kai Chen's neural implants interfaced with the prototype quantum empathy matrix. His consciousness expanded beyond traditional human perception, mapping the intricate quantum connections between different forms of sentient experience. The device wasn't just a technological marvel. It was a window into the fundamental nature of consciousness. Initial tests show quantum resonance at 83%. Kai announced, his voice a blend of scientific precision and barely contained wonder. "We're not just translating. We're creating a shared cognitive space." Sergeant Marcus Chen watched the demonstrations, his cybernetic eye processing information at speeds that would overwhelm most biological systems. The attack that was meant to destroy humanity had instead unleashed its most profound potential for understanding. Dr. Elena Rodriguez pulled up holographic displays showing the first successful interspecies cognitive translations. It wasn't just about understanding alien languages. It was about comprehending alien experiences, alien ways of perceiving reality. "The Vox Collective's quantum consciousness," she explained, "exists in a state we previously thought impossible. They experience time as a multidimensional landscape, not a linear progression." The quantum empathy interface could bridge those impossible gaps. Technologies developed in the crucible of humanity's near destruction were now becoming tools of unprecedented communication and understanding. Major Jackson Reed reviewed the strategic implications. This was more than a defensive technology. It was a fundamental reimagining of cosmic interaction. "We're not just defending," he said, watching the holographic displays. "We're creating a new framework for interstellar understanding." Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o managed the complex quantum communication networks. Each transmission was a carefully constructed exploration of consciousness, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The technologies emerging from humanity's response to the Zarkonian attack were transforming everything. Planetary healing systems that could restore ecosystems destroyed by conflict. Communication technologies that could bridge the most fundamental differences between species. Maria's team developed a system that could literally translate emotional experiences. A Proximan's experience of collective consciousness could be understood by a human individual. The complex quantum emotional landscape of the Vox Collective became comprehensible. "It's not about revenge," Dr. Rodriguez explained during a briefing to the Intergalactic Council. "It's about understanding." The quantum empathy interface represented something far more profound than a technological breakthrough. It was a philosophical transformation. Humanity was demonstrating that the most powerful response to destruction was not more destruction, but a fundamental expansion of understanding. Kai Chen's consciousness expanded through the interface. He could feel the quantum resonance of alien experiences, the collective consciousness of the Proximan Collective, the time-fluid perception of the Vox, the crystalline thought patterns of the few remaining Zarkonian survivors. "We're creating a new language," he said, his voice trembling with the magnitude of the discovery. "Not of words, but of experience." The facility pulsed with energy that seemed to challenge the fundamental laws of physics. Entire planetary healing systems came online. Technologies that could restore ecosystems, bridge genetic damage, create communication channels between species that had existed in isolation for millennia. Sergeant Marcus Chen understood the true nature of their work. The attack meant to destroy humanity had instead triggered its most profound evolutionary leap. Not a leap of destruction, but of understanding. "We're not just surviving," Marcus said, watching the quantum empathy interface reveal new layers of cosmic complexity. "We're expanding the very concept of consciousness." The technologies developed in humanity's darkest moment were becoming a bridge, not just between species, but between fundamentally different ways of experiencing existence. Humanity had been attacked, and in response, they had discovered something far more powerful than vengeance. They had discovered connection. The final confrontation wasn't a battle, it was a transformation. Aboard the Prometheus Rising, Sergeant Marcus Chen stood at the center of a quantum negotiation chamber that defied traditional understanding of space and time. Ambassador Krulax of the Zarkonian remnant sat opposite, no longer a conqueror, but a supplicant to a civilization they had gravely underestimated. "You don't understand what you've done," Krulax transmitted through the quantum empathy interface, its crystalline form shimmering with a mixture of terror and grudging respect. The once mighty Zarkonian civilization had been reduced to a fraction of its former power, not through destruction, but through a fundamental recalibration of its entire existential framework. Dr. Elena Rodriguez managed the communication protocols. Each transmission was a carefully constructed bridge of understanding, transforming what could have been a moment of vengeful triumph into something far more profound. "We're not here to destroy," Elena explained, her voice calm and resolute. "We're here to understand." The Intergalactic Council watched through quantum-entangled observation points. Representatives from 17 different civilizations witnessed a negotiation that would redefine cosmic interaction. Major Jackson Reed reviewed the strategic implications. Humanity hadn't just defended itself, it had fundamentally altered the power dynamics of the entire known universe. Kai Chen's quantum empathy interface captured the nuanced emotional landscape of the negotiation. The pain of the Zarkonians, the resilience of humanity, the complex tapestry of survival and transformation, all translated into a shared moment of understanding. "The attack on our civilization," Krulax transmitted, "was meant to be absolute." Marcus Chen's response cut through the alien statement. "And yet here we are." The Prometheus Rising wasn't just a spacecraft. It was a living testament to humanity's evolutionary potential, a biomechanical marvel that could adapt, learn, transform. Its very existence was a challenge to traditional understanding of technological development. Dr. Maria Santos managed the technological interfaces. Each system was a carefully constructed demonstration of humanity's capabilities, not as a threat, but as an invitation to a new way of existing. The negotiation wasn't about surrender or conquest. It was about fundamental cosmic recalibration. Lieutenant Aisha Nyong'o processed the quantum communication streams. The data revealed something unprecedented, a species that could turn an existential threat into an opportunity for growth, for understanding. "We propose a new framework," Elena Rodriguez announced to the Intergalactic Council. "Not of conflict, but of mutual development." The technologies developed in humanity's moment of greatest threat were now tools of unprecedented potential. Planetary healing systems that could restore ecosystems. Communication technologies that could bridge the most fundamental differences between species. Quantum empathy interfaces that could translate not just language, but entire experiential frameworks. Krulax's transmission carried a mixture of defeat and grudging respect. The Zarkonians had approached humanity believing they were a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. Instead, they had triggered a cosmic evolutionary leap. "We miscalculated," the alien ambassador transmitted, the words carrying the weight of an entire civilization's hubris. Marcus Chen understood the true nature of their victory. It wasn't about destruction. It was about possibility. The Prometheus Rising pulsed with a living energy that seemed to challenge the fundamental laws of physics. Around it, the remnants of the Zarkonian fleet, once instruments of conquest, now became potential partners in a new cosmic understanding. "We offer not punishment," Marcus transmitted, "but potential." The Intergalactic Council watched in stunned silence. Humanity had been attacked with the intention of total destruction. In response, they had created something far more powerful than any weapon: a bridge. Kai Chen's quantum empathy interface captured the moment of transformation. The pain of the past, the potential of the future, all compressed into a single, quantum-entangled moment of understanding. The cosmic order had been fundamentally rewritten, not through conquest, but through connection.